Hi guys, it's Doliana and today I'm filming another video. This video is just going to be a Euphoria episode 1 and 2. My thoughts, recap. The one I posted before going into season 3 had a good reaction, so I just wanted to come on here and express my thoughts from the last 2 episodes. Let's get into the video. I wrote down my thoughts in the notes app, so I'm just gonna be looking at that if you see me looking down. But yeah, because I just have a lot of thoughts and I wanted to keep them all together, especially since it's been like 2 whole episodes. Going into the first episode, it was insane how they found Rue, how Lori and all of them like kind of got Rue and they were like, okay girl, like you owe us money. And the fact that it was not the original like 10K I believe in the suitcase, that now she's saying it's like something million with interest. Girl, what what type of interest is that? Girl, what do you mean by that? Like, what are you talking about? I would have crashed out, because what do you mean $1 million? What do you mean $1 million? Like, no. That was crazy. And the fact that she's like a mule now and she like transports stuff is crazy to me, especially that it was like swallowing and all that. That is crazy. Like, actually, in the showing the process of how she did that with Faye was insane. I think obviously her getting like adopted or whatever by Alamo, not good at all. Not good at all. Obviously not good. But yeah, a lot more of my thoughts were towards episode 2 mainly. I don't have like a lot of thoughts going into episode 1. It was just great to honestly see all of the characters again. It was great to see Maddie. When Maddie came on my screen as like her little assistant character, I was so in love. And I'm just trying to understand how she can afford that her whole apartment's full with clothes, but she ain't getting paid. I'm just a little bit confused. I'm just a little bit confused how she's buying them clothes if she ain't got the money. Her credit card is going crazy, baby. The bill's crazy. I'm just gonna get into episode 2 thoughts because that's where the majority of my thoughts are. I think in episode 2, Rue is really realizing that she's choosing bad company. Obviously, like, we obviously all know that this is bad company. It's setting in, especially by the fact that not only, obviously, we know these people are bad, Lori and Alamo, but like Rue is seeing and handling their business. She's handling both Tish and Angel. Tish's unaliving and Angel's like rehab recovery. I don't know if I'm just jumping to conclusions or if I'm just paranoid, but I really do think either Angel is being trafficked or she's going to be unalived when she goes to rehab. I really do not think this is a rehab facility. I think it is like a place where Alamo sends people that he wants to get rid of. When Rue's like dropping her off and the lady says there's no paperwork, and especially when Angel's also talking about how dark LA is and how she feels like there's a magnet under the soil, I feel like that was such like an awakening moment for Rue and really setting in that she's not a good person, or that she's not going down the right path. She's not doing the right things, which is obvious. It's apparent. I think the person that was watching Rue, like after she comes out and we see the person with the cigarette outside the car, I either think that's Natasha Lyonne's character, or I think it's Bishop, the guy that handles Alamo's business. And I think it might be Bishop because I think that he's like making sure that she completed the job, or obviously it's Natasha Lyonne's character and she's like a detective and like watching what Rue's doing. I think how Alamo reacts to Lori's pig comment has a lot more significance so the story is understood. I feel like the way he's so stuck on it and the way he's so like, he just keeps asking his friends like Bishop and the other guy like, why did she call me that? Why did she call me that? And he's like, it really, you can tell it really ruffled his feathers. And I feel like the way it's affecting him so deeply not only shows how he retaliates to things when he sends like the pig with Remember the Alamo into Lori's house, but it also is showing how clearly like unaware he is that he's a bad person. Like, he's obviously a bad person, but in his head, he's not like one of those bad people that like knows they're a bad person and kind of owns it. You can tell it's like kind of hurting his feelings, and it's like, why are you so upset about being called what you are? And I feel like that has a bigger meaning in the show. People hate being called what they are, or hate being identified as what they are. I think it kind of does go into like when she was calling him a slur, like when the guy Lori was with was calling him a slur. But I feel like it's also just the pig comment really like got under his skin. You can just tell that it's gonna have a lot more significance. I think Faye's mistake with not cleaning off the scale is either gonna lead to her demise, or it's gonna lead to some dangerous situations for her, either with Lori or with Alamo and Bishop. In the teaser for episode 3, we see that Bishop and Rue are going to Lori's house, and we see them in Lori's house. So I obviously think either Bishop's there to hurt people or he's there to like cause some type of disturbance. As we see Bishop throughout like earlier trailers for the season, he's a very like dangerous person. He seems to be like a handler of business for Alamo, if you know what I mean by that. I think Rue and Jules like coming back together was very bittersweet, especially for me as a Rules fan. Was really extremely bittersweet, like to see them on my television again after so long. But I really just don't think that their vibe was exactly the same as it was before. I think that it just seemed a little bit strained. Obviously we saw that they had met up over years kind of, but it did just seem like kind of surface level. I feel like this does really show. I feel like a lot of people dislike Jules, and obviously there's parts of it that are valid because she did cheat on Rue in the last season, but I feel like there's also parts of it where people blame Jules for like a lot of stuff in the relationship when it seems to be like Rue is always the one that's kind of reuniting them. Last season she reunited them when she went up to her at the party, when they saw each other at the party. She kind of spilled her guts about like missing her and all that, and then now again she's missing her again and she goes and visits her. It's not to be like combative or like blame one person, but I feel like it is a lot of Rue reuniting them and then Jules takes the blame for it in the audience's point of view. But I really just do think like how Jules is kind of standing on business, saying you're trying to avoid things that are bad for you, but you're here and we aren't really that good together, and you know that, so why are you here? Rue can blame Jules as much as she wants, but at the end of the day, it's her actions that are getting her to where she is in her life. And I'm not saying Jules is in the perfect place, but I just feel like it's very weird for Rue to come back into Jules' life and kind of want to judge her for choices that she's making when Rue isn't making the best choices either. Like Rue, knowing Jules' history with her mom and her mom having addiction, she just keeps lying about being sober when she knows she's not. And maybe it's also kind of like on Jules too, like, girl, you know she's not sober, like, be for real. They're both very complex characters, but I just feel like I love them so much and I wish they could come together, but I just don't think either of them are at a place in their lives where they can come together. I've seen a lot of people on TikTok and online like saying the theory that they think that Nate is Jules's dad, but I don't believe that to be true. Nate is literally in like $500,000 of debt to his partner in construction. I don't think he has the money. I don't think he has the resources to be spoiling Jules and buying Jules things and things of that nature. I think that would be a really cool like twist to the story, but I really don't think that's true. And through like trailers we've seen, Jules and Nate are having like a reconciliation or after being in high school. So I think that I just don't believe that Nate is Jules's dad. I think through Nate and Cal's interactions, there's so many parallels to the last season. Like when Nate is at the top of the stairs and his dad's at the bottom, it's the same as last season, as well as the hypocrisy of it all. Obviously, what Cal did was horrible, not only to his wife, not only to his family, but just like morally, like the way he's kind of brushing it off as he was just a very active person. It was just a mistake or whatever, and he's not gay. I think that's just really odd. And then while he's like trying to judge Cassie and say, well, obviously you're in financial troubles because Cassie's doing OF. And it's like, okay, so you're judging Nate. The episode, they're literally talking about how he nearly escaped going to prison. Okay, gal, whatever you say, girl. I think Cassie and Maddie coming together is very dangerous. I'm honestly nervous for Cassie, but I also think to some degree she deserves it. I think Maddie did genuinely miss her, and that's why she kind of saw out this meeting, this interaction. But through Cassie's words were, well, that's all I'm here for. That's all I came here for. After she gets a couple of drinks in her, just kind of like, okay, so that's what you came here for. You came here to get advice, to get managed, to get yourself brought up. You came here to build up your ego, not to be the bigger person and apologize for like the bad things that you did. So I feel like all of that is just, there's definitely something coming for Cassie. Obviously through like clips we've seen, I really do think something bad is going to happen to Cassie. I don't know whether that's gonna be she's gonna get trafficked or she's gonna get unalived, and I don't know whether it has to do with Maddie, but a lot of people do think it does have to do with Maddie. But if it has to do with Nate's partner and that leads to both of their demise, or we really don't know. But I think obviously what Maddie's emulating to the outside is not exactly true. I think it's a good front for her to put onto Cassie, because then she can kind of sway Cassie to do things maybe that could benefit her. But overall, I am team Maddie. I don't really care for Cassie. Good luck, girl. I don't know what to tell you. Through some more clips we see into episode 3, Nate and Cassie's wedding is a mess waiting to happen. I can't wait to watch it. I cannot wait to watch it. And the fact that everyone from high school is there, it's gonna be crazy. Angel was affected by Tish's death, and how she started to spiral herself was also very evident to Rue. And I think that's another way where she's really seeing like, this is not the life I should be living, but she's in it anyways. And how she's not talking to her mom, where we see her phone call where she seems to be in like a trap house or something of that nature, where there's a lot of people kind of on drugs, and she's calling her mom, like begging to come home. And she even talks about how she hasn't really talked to her mom in almost 2 years. I think it's really just showing where Rue is at as a person and like trying to navigate this, but obviously she's not doing very well. And I don't think we're seeing her do a lot of drugs like in other seasons, but it's apparent that she's still on drugs. Seeing Maddie, Jules, and Rue's like reactions to something that's supposedly happening at the wedding is very interesting, because they all look surprised, confused kind of looks on their faces. I think also through seeing another clip in the sneak peeks of Rue and Jules in bed together, and then obviously Rue giving her money and saying like she's gonna be her stepdad now, just trying to barter with nothing. Cassie like boasting the ring to Maddie and how they're so happy, and how Nate is supportive of everything she does with OF. I think it's just funny how both Maddie and Cassie are kind of putting on a front to each other, and I feel like it's going to be really funny when the front falls for both of them to one another. I feel like Cassie's doing very graphic, I don't know what wording I can use, but like subsidized OF types of content with a very low follower count. And I know there's obviously demand for some things, but I feel like she has a very low follower count to be hoping to make $50,000 from OF, and she doesn't really have like the resources to get that money. And in the end, Nate ends up paying for it because word is getting out that she's doing it, and he's getting embarrassed now. And I feel like it just doesn't make sense for him to like even have allowed her to do it to this degree. I feel like Nate was never that type of person in previous seasons, so it's kind of weird how he's allowing it now. But I guess because of the financial hardships he's in, and now he's trying to get investors to pay for the original partner that invested $500,000 into him, really shows how desperate he is also as well to get money. And something else I really wanted to talk about is I did not like how throughout the like trailers, teasers for this season of Euphoria, they made it really seem like Maddie kind of had something against Jules, and Jules being a sugar baby. But obviously we can see through this second episode that Maddie wasn't really saying it in a condescending way. She's saying like, oh, I wouldn't do that, but a lot of girls today are. But the way it was cut and like put into the teasers made it seem like there was going to be some kind of like rivalry between Maddie and Jules, and where Maddie kind of doesn't like Jules, has something against her. Maddie and Rue are closer than Maddie and Jules, but I feel like there's not bad blood essentially there. It's just kind of like they haven't talked in a while. We are as well gonna see that Maddie does have a lot of connections to the club, so I feel like that really does tie into Maddie kind of doing something to Cassie, because she has connections to Alamo. We've seen pictures of her riding in a car with Alamo, as well as in the diner with Alamo. I think that's gonna be a very bad moral look for Maddie to like do something really bad to Cassie, but at the end of the day she kind of does deserve it. I don't know, but I don't know if she does. I can't tell. I'm just really excited to see Nate and Jules reunite and what Nate has to say to her. I feel like there's a lot of unfinished business there, like I did say on my last one, but I am just really excited to see what their interactions are going to be at the wedding, and especially her interactions with Cal as well. I wonder if Maddie's gonna have any type of little revengeful moments at the wedding. We see Nate's mom saying, why did she even show up? Because she's the blueprint, baby. Because she's the blueprint. Because Cassie's been trying to be her for 60 years at this point. I think that's all. But I did just want to get all my thoughts out from episode 1 and episode 2. I'm sorry if this was a little bit of a longer video, but like I said, just wanted to elaborate a little bit further. If you want to see how I did this makeup look, go to my shorts on my account and you can watch the tutorial. Comment down below any of your thoughts from the past 2 episodes, as well as your thoughts going into episode 3. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye guys.